Hello, so my name is Live.
And I am Scandal.
And welcome to our book preview review.
Yeah.
To A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Brigid, Kemmerer. So I read this book, and if you haven't listened to the preview, you can on our channel.
Yep.
It's the video right before this one. I say, but there's also a link in the description. But if you haven't read the book, there shouldn't be any spoilers in here because we've only read the first 3 chapters.
Yep.
I was gonna say, but we're just gonna talk about like thematics and how we felt. And honestly, I liked the format of going back and forth between the 2 characters. A lot of books don't really do that. It did first person from both points of view. I don't know that I always love it, but it's something that isn't done very often, and I enjoy it, because then you're not always in one person's head.
I don't know what genre you grew up with, but damn, I remember what it used to be like, the thing. Like, it was, everybody's got a perspective, it was everywhere for a while, and the fact that it's actually in this book again was actually a little bit like, sort of like whiplashy, honestly.
Okay, see, and when I was young, I never read first-person books at all.
No,
I never read a single first-person book in my life until I was had been an adult for a little while.
That's fine. It really started, though, showing up, honestly, I want to say, late 90s, early or mid-2000s. There's a large range there, but it was starting to basically, pepper in more frequently. So, spoilers, obviously, this goes from 2 different perspectives, and it goes from one love interest to the other. Okay, so yeah, I was gonna say, you have, this story is very clearly a retelling of Beauty and the Beast with, a different take on it. It sounds very much like the prince is essentially in his own land in some way. I was actually a little bit confused with the way the author described his world, which I guess, he described his world, because he's there and he describes having killed off absolutely everyone except for his guards person, but then there's towns and village people and stuff out there that he is trying not to still kill off when he becomes a beast. So I was confused there, because he goes from, first, there was, my whole family and all the courtesans and all the guards and all the everything and the staff, and then there were just a few guards, and then there was only Gray. Except for Gray literally has just taken him on a run through the forest to avoid eating his village people, so I'm not sure if that's just the way the character would describe it, or if he's just being melodramatic. Because again, I also so if that means you can run off from the forest and you can do shit like that, wouldn't that mean you would just start doing that and then basically you would drive everybody out of the castle? But so one of those things that I feel like people forget in regards to individuals who owned castles, which were usually royalty, guess what? They had many castles!
Usually
they really did. So, you would have
yes.
Your winter castle, and you would have your summer
palace.
The reasons why that is a stereotype is because you're right. Sometimes it was a pain in the butt, and I suppose we don't know much about how this monarchy works, but
anyway, the author started the world building interestingly enough. It sounds like basically you've got your standard medieval monarchy going on in one world, and then you've got our modern world in a big city, which I don't remember which city, where you've got, your young teenage girl protagonist, which high school girl, and he's just turned 18, so it'd be illegal in our world unless she's also 18.
Except he sounded like he was hundreds of years old.
Well, he is also hundreds of years old, but he gets reset to perfect 18 every time. Except for his mind doesn't get reset, so really he is over 100 years old.
Honestly,
so we're
gonna
be
have super on board with somebody who'd be perfectly reset every single time to being a perfect 18-year-old, and yet somehow managing to have all those memories and be unchanged.
Yeah, you've not learned anything from anything of them. You haven't grown or progressed in any way, any of it. I don't know. If that is the case, that'd be interesting. But at the same time, he's got over 100 years worth of memories, so he is older than she is. Hell, he's not.
Yeah.
And he also has, 100 years worth of memories of trying not to kill people. Except for, as far as I can tell, he doesn't have any memories at all every time he turns into the beast. Again, this is a limited preview.
Yeah.
But he really does the what happened kind of thing, and he doesn't remember stuff. But Gray, who also resets, and his body is unchanged during this curse, doesn't have that problem. I thought the writing style was okay. I liked that the heroine had something different about her. She has cerebral palsy. So that was interesting. And I like the fact that they're going to tell a love story, even if it's going to be, potentially your tropey, weird fantasy, traditional story, with a disabled protagonist. Because that is something a lot of people don't do.
Or one of the protagonists is more disabled, basically.
Yes.
Now, my concern is that actually, honestly, when it came up in the preview, I was actually instantly going, I wonder if the author is going to end it and going, and then we fixed it magically, by magical means, and then it's not actually a weakness, and she'll just get over it at some point, or she'll be able to just conquer basically her disability, of course, you know? And
who knows? That's not actually in the preview at all, but that was a concern I had. Other than that, it sounded very, very standard, like boxed-in romance kind of thing, of it's only going to be 3 people in the entire world. On the other hand, I don't understand why his guard Gray has to leave his kingdom to go to another world to go get a girl to love him when he's got all these people out in the village and the towns. Additionally,
honestly,
if he's killing off all his guards and Gray is the only one who's managed to survive, if Gray died, would the curse never be able to be broken ever, since he clearly does a service for him?
Right?
Of getting the girl that could potentially break the curse.
Well, and see, and then my question is also going, well, is this basically then that he loves Gray? But, you know, I'm one of those people who goes, I don't understand. He's basically your best damn friend. You've been around him for forever. You know everything about him.
If you'd spent over 100 years surviving with someone, and you were basically alone together, you would have some kind of a connection deeper than bro. Yep. So
no bromo.
No bromo. Ho bromo. Oh bromo. Oh broho.
Full bromo.
Anyway, so it sounded, like I said, very standard as far as like teen romance. It was an interesting take in the sense that it was from 2 different worlds, but in the sense that it was boxed in with limited exposure, and the way you're going to get these characters together is by having them completely isolated.
You're going to isekai her.
Yeah, you've just pulled her to another world, and she's going to have to connect to that world.
Yep, pretty much.
Anyway, so I don't know if I would end up reading it if it was just me on my own, because it feels a little bit too tropey in that way. It feels a little too standard. On the other hand, the writers seem to know...
It feels very well worn and very tired.
very, it's very familiar, but not extremely comfortable.
And not even like in the sense, like, you can have something be very familiar, but it's like, if it's not done in a way that's interesting,
not comfortable,
or done
it's
well,
not like it's familiar, like socks, but not like an old comfy pair of socks.
Yeah, it's just sort of like.
Anyway, so that was what I thought about it. I didn't have anything particularly striking in the beginning of it at all that made it really stand out from other books. If you're just going to pick up and scan through it, for me, it didn't make anything stand out. The author did seem to know what they were doing. There wasn't any like major errors of confusion, and the stuff where I questioned the world building could be explained later because it's all very brief. Gone over of Gray's here, Gray goes. Perhaps Gray cannot be killed and he doesn't know that.
I know, right?
Right? And that's
a couple of chapters. What? Yes.
Yeah. Perhaps the reason he's not involved with Gray is because Gray is actually the fairy that cursed him, and they're just altered his memory and going, I'm going to keep throwing girls at you and making them suffer until you get better. Who knows?
Honestly, then the fairy would be like, but I've had a great time, and why can't I have them? I made them.
Or whatever.
Mine. So, anyway, if we're going to go that
Faye can be quite unpredictable, but that was generally my thoughts on it.
Yeah, so in the end, I guess if you guys want to continue going and reading this book, you're more than welcome to. I recommend you go to your library, honestly.
Always recommend the library or the app Overdrive, which is what we use to get our free previews from. It is a library app. It's super cool. If you support it, it's awesome. We are not sponsored by it, but we definitely do support it ourselves. Yes. Additionally, we have a Let's Play channel over at Lies and Scandal, not Lies and Scandal Lit. If you want to check the sidebar, it is the only featured channel here. We are pretty freaking funny on our Let's Play channel, and
we have a blast.
We have a lot of fun, and it's way less structured than this, but we do also do a lot of voice acting, just like in the books. We'd also like it if you would check out our other book previews and or leave commentary. If you loved this book, or if you hated this book, we would love to hear from you.
Or even if you've got a book actually that you would like us to preview, we could do that too. But the thing is you gotta mention it.
It's true. We need more comments. Anyway, take care of yourselves out there. Bye!